Hey everybody, have an exciting one today, at least exciting from my perspective. Have a Christie, Christie 670. Let's get that in view there. There you go. It's a DHD670-E. It was sent in the other day without any specific description of what was going on. Just that it wasn't working. So one of the things I noticed was the sheer amount of dust inside. There's just a lot of dust. So I left the cover on for now until I could start the video. So let's take the bag off. I'm going to lift up the front so I can see that bag is glaring like crazy. Bit of tape in the way. This is a very expensive high-end projector. There we go. You can see it's got a great set of jacks on it. Going from left to right, we have Ethernet and USB. Assuming USB is for servicing. I didn't check the manual yet. Got RS-232, VGA out, 2 VGA ins, 2 HDMI, component, RGB, S-video, even composite it looks like, yeah. And then we have a keypad, 5 volt and 12 volt trigger outs. So that's pretty cool. And of course the button over there. But you can even kind of see at this point, I'm going to zoom in on the air vent, that there's like a solid wall of dust. I imagine it's having overheating issues. Let me see if... Oh wow. Yeah, that's just dust buildup on there. I thought maybe that was a filter, but it's not. You can see. There we go. That's pretty bad. So, before I power it up, I want to make sure there's no power problems. The way I do that is I use an old device built many years ago. This thing, it looks funny, but it works really well. What I did was wire this light bulb in line with the hot side of that side of the power strip. So whatever I plug into this puts the light bulb in line with its hot side, or its live side, and it acts as a ballast. And what that allows me to do is plug in something that might have a shorted power supply, and if it is shorted it won't damage anything further. It'll just light that light bulb up. So what we'll do is we'll get the power cord, plug this in, and let's get this plugged in. So all I'm looking to do is make sure the power supply is not totally damaged. So that tells me the ballast is on when that comes on. It looks like we do have a status light, so that's good. That means the projector itself doesn't have a bad low voltage supply. If I try to fire it up though, it'll definitely draw more power than this is rated for. So this tells me the low voltage is okay, nothing's going to explode. So now we can unplug this, and we can plug the projector directly into the wall. I do this with any projector that I don't have a description of the problem beforehand. Alright, so we're back. We have a status light. Let's see. Now let's see what happens. Let's hit power. Alright, I just heard the lamps try to ignite. Lamp 1 and lamp 2 are just flashing really fast. I didn't look the manual up. I don't know if that's normal. The shutter's opening. No light yet. Let's see. we have something. A little makeshift screen there. You can see it right there. Let me turn off the overhead light. Okay, well that's unusual, because between me and you I think that looks okay. Let's see if I can focus it. Oh, something's pulsing. Let's see, let's try that again. Focus. Oh, it's flickering like crazy now. There's something wrong in here. Color wheel maybe. Lamp maybe. But we're going to shut it down and check the lamps. Now that the projector is off and finished cooling, unplug the power cord. This isn't the original power cord, it's one I use. And then let's open up the lamp housing area. 2 screws on the back. I believe, yeah, captive with springs. So these screws won't come out, they'll just be loose. And the door hinges right up. Wow, this thing's dirty. There we go, you can see inside. I mean, it's, you know, I've seen worse for sure. But that's still pretty dirty. Let's pop these out and see. I think this is the color wheel over here. Suspicious after seeing all the dust inside this thing. I don't think it's ever been cleaned. Again, if you own a high-end projector, please get it cleaned regularly. There's one lamp. That looks good. Set that here. And then the other lamp. Also looks good. Actually, I don't know about the coating on this one. This one has a coating, but you can see the lens is starting to crack from lack of cooling. The air gets blown in on this side, so the air comes in here and it's supposed to blow across the arc tube. And it doesn't look like it's doing it very well. No, this lamp is overheating. On the back, that blister in the metal is from overheating. So I suspect we're going to find a lot of dust, clogged fans, that sort of thing. In fact, yeah, let me hope this tripod's not too noisy. So the light from the lamp shines into this mirror, and that then goes into this lens, and there's dust all over the place. Oh, it blows in from this side. I'm sorry, I didn't even see the blower fans here. So we got a fan up here, there's a fan over here, and this is the vent for it. So the air goes in there, it's forced in. So I'll bet these 2 fans are full of dirt. Everything just looks very dusty. Let's see, that's in good shape. Yep. That can be adjusted, but I'm not going to adjust that. It should be fine. Usually the factory has it set pretty well. So the next thing we're going to do is take the top off. There's a lot of screws. Fortunately, since it's Christie, it's a good product, there's little arrows. Now all the screws are out, so I need to unhook the color wheel. And the way you do that is there's 2 clips on either side that you squeeze in. and then you lift, and then it'll pop out. You can see there's the connector there. Because we need to lift this off, and that wire looks like it might be clipped into something on the top, so I didn't want it to pull on the color wheel. So now I should, there we go. Ooh, dusty. Yeah, that color wheel wire's caught. There we are. I had to turn it sideways like this, and then it would slide through. And then we have the LED panel. Unhook that same way. Close these. Put this on the shelf. And now we are inside the belly of the beast. And my assumption is likely true when I see things like dust tumbleweeds rolling around. We're in here with this incredibly expensive lens. I think we might, I'll take this out once I get it a little cleaner. Look down in there, you can see see it all. Look at all that dust down there. I really suspect this is just going to need a really good cleaning, and then it'll probably start working right. But metal's got to come off next. If it's these guys. Looks like it probably was. Yep. There we go. Wow. Yeah. I'm wearing a black shirt and there's already dust all over my shirt. There we go. Look at that. Turn my screen. So let's do a little tour. Lamps go here, there and there. Light shines that way from that one, that way from that one. Hits that mirror right there. It looks like it actually might be burned a little. Hopefully I can do something about that. Maybe I can adjust it out of the way. So the light then goes through the integrator and probably into the color wheel, which is in here in this cartridge. Color wheels are replaceable in these because they do fail. I'm going to check this one. There's the wire for the color wheel. I'm actually going to plug that back in so I can test it. I'll do it later. Let's see what else. Then we have power supply, lamp exhaust fans, lamp cooling fan. There's for the first one, and this thing's disgusting. You can see these are filthy. They turn, so that's good, but boy are they filthy. There's the other lamp. What happens is this dust that builds up on the fins messes up the airfoil of the blower, and it stops pushing air through at the proper velocity, and you get weird things like we saw. Anyway, after the light goes through the color wheel, you got more optics, and then it looks like this is where the DLP system is. Got a mirror there, probably reflecting it down, and probably have a DLP assembly down inside here. I may open that up at some point, but with something like this projector, less disassembly is better. This projector's about, I don't know, 15 grand new. Looks like we got a cooling radiator over here for the DLP. Yeah, you got cooling pipes going in the back. So that's the DLP chip down in there. DMD, whatever you want to call it. And that's probably video. Let's see, what's this board say? Connector. Okay, we got fans, so that's a fan board. Alright, so that's probably just from the electronics. All the electronics look to be underneath. They're probably all down under here. We're just going to worry about in this area, and that's good by me. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this out to where I have my air compressor, and I'm going to hit it with some gentle air to get all this dust out. And it's clean, or cleaner at least. You can see the fans infinitely better. This one was kind of a pain. And I also need to update my tour. There's actually blower fans in here, so there is air going in both sides of that lamp. So I cleaned those out as well. So much dust came out. In fact, I wanted to show you this. A bunch of these came out, just like big chunks. And then probably 1.5 pounds of other dust. You can see down in there, it's pretty dust free. There's some stuck to the grease on the gears, but I can't really do much about that. Don't really need to. But I also want to check the back of the lens, so let's disconnect the lens. And it's clean, or cleaner at least. You can see the fans infinitely better. This one was kind of a pain. And I also need to update my tour. There's actually blower fans in here, so there is air going in both sides of that lamp. So I cleaned those out as well. So much dust came out. In fact, I wanted to show you this. A bunch of these came out, just like big chunks. And then probably 1.5 pounds of other dust. You can see down in there, it's pretty dust free. There's some stuck to the grease on the gears, but I can't really do much about that. Don't really need to. But I also want to check the back of the lens, so let's disconnect the lens. To remove the lens from a DHD670, normally the cover would be on. I don't have the cover on because, you know, the work that I'm doing. But you would flip open the door that would be here, and you would see this lever. This lever right here. This lever is what locks the lens into place. We're going to pull up on that lever. But what I'm going to do first is get my hand under the lens, because this is a very expensive lens. We lift up, and it just unplugs. It'll come out right through the front. There it is. There's the lens. Set it on this block of foam. Actually, I'll show you on the back. That's where it connects to the projector for controlling the zoom and focus motors. So you could switch this out with a different lens. I took that out because I'm going to hand clean the back of it. I wanted to check in the front and make sure there were no problems with the optic assembly. So let's see if I can slide you all down so you can see in there. There you go. Hey, you can see the DLP chip right there. That's it. DMD, digital mirrored device. Zoom in on it a little. And let's get some light in there. The flash. flashlight. That'll be good. Yeah, there's a bunch of dust buildup in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Coughing a little from cleaning that. But right there, that stuff, that's got to come out. So I'll probably do that by hand. I don't like blowing air around in there. Some people say using compressed air is a bad idea, and they're partly right. What you need to do is make sure that you're not spraying the air too hard, because you could knock debris loose and scratch optics, break fan blades, you know, all that sort of thing. So what I do, I use the compressed air, but I have a regulator that turns the pressure down. Pardon me. At the nozzle, I'm running about 20 psi, 10 to 20 depending. If the dust is really bad, I'll turn it up a little bit, but I usually run around 10 to 20 psi. And I have a diffused tip, so it kind of sprays the air out, so it's not a straight jet. So that's pretty interesting. It's a beautiful projector, well made. Let's take the color wheel out now and see if that needs cleaning as well. Let's take the color wheel out. There are 2 screws and a wire. Wire's already unhooked from earlier. I meant to plug it back in, but I guess I'm glad I didn't. So these don't come out all the way. They are captive, so you just need to take them out until they're at the top of the threads. You'll feel it hop. Like that. Now, should be able to go straight up. And then there's the color wheel. Right there. I'm just doing this to make sure there's no burn marks or burn spots. It doesn't look like it. It's a little dirty. I see dust around here. But definitely does not need a replacement from what I'm seeing right now. The sensor for the index mark is here. This board needs to come off and get cleaned. In fact, the whole thing, there's dust buildup. So you can't get it all out with the air because you don't want to push it too hard. Here's the alignment pins for when you put it back in. And that'll give us a clearer view of the optics. Right there. So here's the iris. You can see that groove gets larger, and there's full brightness with that aperture open all the way. Then they bring the brightness down as the aperture closes, and then that blanks out the light right there. That's pretty cool.